us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us, and remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
Manic Mondays. Manic Mondays. You know, that song reminds me, because it was real popular when I was running away to Kansas. And I was thinking about that the other day. And what had happened is I ran away to Kansas when I was like 14, 15. I was somewhere in there. And while I was there, I had it was like, the big cups that you get from restaurants or whatever, right? That was full of whiskey, and I downed the whole thing, and I blacked out for 3 days. I was 15 years old. And it didn't really occur to me until a few weeks ago exactly how fucking scary that is. And I'm lucky to even be alive. When I woke up, I had a cut on my face. I was covered in head and toe in urine. I don't know what happened. And the person I was with was a liar. He told me that I stole his Porsche and crashed it. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, dude. You don't own a Porsche. Thankfully, I didn't think it at the time. Actually, I kind of did. My mom found me in Beloit, Kansas. All right. Thank you, by the way, Mom. Because I may have died out there, man. I may have. So, all right. Just kind of reminded me of that. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. I did, even though no football, but I got my laundry done. So there's that, small wins. All right. Actually, I got a lot of stuff done this weekend, but like today I wake up, right? And today and tomorrow's already full. I didn't have anything really planned, but as the day went on, things started to get full. We have a podcast today. It's been a little while since we had a podcast. Because of anonymity reasons, they are coming on and using their name and stuff, but probably not gonna be getting too much into the story as much as it's going to be about why she's in. She didn't want to get too personal, but because the way I work the podcast is it's your story, it's your time, and how you want to utilize it. As long as we're talking about recovery, how you want to utilize it is up to you. And I'm going to try and support you in that. Right. Hey, Jimmy. Jimmy says, blackouts, you have to ask the guard what you were charged with. Yeah. Yeah. Right, when you wake up in the drunk tank, you're like, excuse me, deputy. Yeah. Why am I here? Now, I did end up spending time in a jail cell while my father and my best friend's dad came out and got me. I kept sneaking cigarettes. All right, and I slept. I pretty much just slept. So, yeah. Scary stuff to put your parents through, man. All right. Clearly, I didn't know what I was doing. And, yeah. And we all have stories like that, don't we? Uh, See, isn't it weird that we think that we're terminally unique to find out that there's a bunch of people out there that are like us. That alcohol really, really makes you feel separated, and it creates a lot of denial. So, with that being said, you know what time it is? It is time for Dion's Daily Funnies, where he tells stupid dad jokes. All right, are we ready to go? What cars do eggs drive? Well, they drive Volkswagens. Volkswagens. Volks- Why didn't the skeleton go on the roller coaster? He didn't have the guts. What did the cereal bring to the bank? Checks. Wasn't that funny? How does the moon style his hair? Well, he clips it. Yeah. All right, we're gonna do a few more here. Kitties, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be. All right. Why did the bird attack the dog? He was purebred. A dog made out of purebred. All right, one more. One more. Why not? What did one wall say to the other? Hey, let's meet at the corner. Not funny? There we go. Now it's funny. All right. Done with that. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. I'm your host, also known as the Pod Father. I'm not going to let go of this one. I'm going to make it stick. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching live or the rewatch. Got a lot of rewatchers. Again, not required. You don't need to say anything if you don't want to. I think I have probably the quietest following ever. It's all right. It's all right. Another Take 12 radio was done today. It'll be out about 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Yeah, an interesting one. I think a lot of you will find it interesting. And talking to a man in Minnesota who was kicked out of every AA group. Yeah. I'm gonna let the podcast speak for itself. It isn't quite how it sounds. So I would recommend you go listen to it. I always enjoy hanging out with Monty and Roger. Speaking of which, God-centered recovery is tomorrow, but it's going to have to be put off until Thursday. It's going to come out Thursday. We will be live Thursday at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. We usually do it on Tuesdays at 11 o'clock, but I have to go into post-op surgery for my finger tomorrow. And then next Tuesday, I'll be in surgery for my finger. So we're going to do it Thursday this week. You can catch that. If you'd like to come on, tell your story. Maybe you got something topical. I am looking for more speakers. I tell you now, people are starting to reach out though. So if you want to get on the show, please reach out. And some of you owe me. Not owe me, but you owe me. You owe me your story. Okay, you do owe, but not to me. If God has given you a great life, if the program has given you a great life freely, then the only way you're gonna keep it is by giving it away. That's the O. Okay, you don't owe me. You owe AA. All right. So today we're talking about rescued by surrendering, and it comes from AA. AA comes of age, and when it comes to reading out of this, it's a little different for me here. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to do Jimmy, I was just giving you a hard time. But yeah, I'd love to have you on the show. Jimmy's got a new book out, man. I don't remember the name of it. Put it in chat, man. Tell people where they could find it. Let's do some plugging here. Because Jimmy plugs my stuff all the time, man. He's sharing it all the time. And I appreciate that, brother. I really do. I think it takes a lot of guts for people to share my stuff. I'm kind of, salty is still the best word to describe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this first. I'm going to read the daily reflection first. Then we'll get to the book. I'm not sure how much I'll be saying on this before we really get started, but excuse me, characteristics rescued by surrendering February 2nd. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay. Characteristics of the so-called typical alcoholic is a narcissistic, egocentric core dominated by feelings of omnipotence, intent on maintaining at all costs its inner integrity. Do you hear that? All right. Or he's saying that now we're not really narcissistic, but how about you? But I certainly had narcissistic traits. Absolutely, I did. The control, the gaslighting, the manipulating. You bet your ass I did. That's why it's easy for me to see it because I used to do it. I used to be that way. All right. Intent on maintaining at all costs is inner integrity. What real integrity am I holding on to here? When I'm drinking, there is nothing. Well, I might do integrity things. I've always been the kind of guy that always takes the car back whether I was drinking or not. I say hi to people. You know, I've been a while since I talked about this, but and I still try and do it to this day. But when I was 17, all right, at the height of part of my drinking, I was at this point I wasn't homeless. I was close though. I was getting there. But I decided, I want to be a little bit more extroverted. So what I did is I came up with a challenge in my life, and the challenge is to make one person a day laugh. That's the challenge. Doesn't sound too challenging, does it? Doesn't sound too hard. Well, you know me, I don't work that way, especially as an alcoholic. I want to do things the hard way. So I made a rule. And the rule is it can't be the same person twice. Now you got to go out of your way. Right? Once you're done making your family and your friends laugh, or people that you see every day, co-workers, maybe you're at school. Nope, it has to be a different person. It could never be the same person twice. And it's a good challenge, and I still try and do it to this day. All right. Today, I've already done it today. So I've already got that challenge has been met. Right. I think I can come on here and crack jokes because there's other people that are here, but it was the guest that was on Take 12 Radio. I made him laugh. Right. Why not? Right. Inwardly, the alcoholic brooks no control from man or God. He, the alcoholic, is and must be the master of his destiny. He will fight to preserve that position. But what position is he preserving here? So, but we're talking in this case that because you got to remember we're in the second month, so they're trying to cover step 2 here is what they're doing. All right. So AA comes of age, page 311. The great mystery is why do some of us die alcoholic deaths fighting to preserve the independence of our ego while others seem to sober up effortlessly in AA? Ooh, that's a pretty bold statement. While others seem, okay, they put seem in there. So it seems like that, even though it's not true. Got it. Okay. Because sobering up effortlessly in AA, where did this person go to meetings? Because I want to go. If it was effortless, I wanted to go, but that's not what they're saying. Seems to be that way. All right. And I don't know the answer to this question, and really it's not a question that I get into deep thought on either. Hi, Amber. It's good to see you. But it goes on to say, help from a higher power, the gift of sobriety came to me when an otherwise unexplained desire to stop drinking coincided with my willingness to accept the suggestions of the men and women of AA. I had to surrender, for only by reaching out to God and my fellows could I be rescued. Yes. We call it something different now. Nowadays, we tend to call it the gift of desperation, right? This whole idea being of surrendering, right, and freedom. In step 2 in the 12 by 12, it talks about that the only way to total independence is total dependence upon a higher power, right? And to us, that's kind of an oxymoron. But since we are alcoholics who like to put the cart before the horse, it's that to everybody else is just kind of a matter of fact. Nowadays, for me, it is a matter of fact because I have practiced it. Because I have practiced surrendering, and I surrender every day. Every day when I wake up in the morning, I surrender what I think I should be doing about this world. That's what I surrender. Uh, Sometimes I have to do a little 10th step before something happens. I had to do it today. There was something that was coming up, and I wasn't sure if I was quite on board. So I said it out loud to a friend, right? And what it did is it helped me become a little bit more open-minded and not be presumptuous about what might be coming up. Now, and that's something I've noticed about me lately that that lately I've been a little presumptive about some things. So I need to back off on that a little bit for my sake, for my own sanity, right? So here's the thing is it isn't just, you know, surrender doesn't just have to be do with the individual. It can be the group too. Yeah. When a group decides that they don't need to be popular, that they don't need to have 20 million people in their group, and they do it by attraction rather than promotion, they got something good going on. They really do. Um, Jimmy says, from the streets to the steps, one day at a time. Oh, okay. This is for your book. Jimmy Pigeon, available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, available online. Awesome. Good stuff, Jimmy. Good job. Good job, man. I'm proud of you. Proud of you. It's not easy to put out a book. Good job on that, right? So AA did not grow through force, strategy, or control. Growth came when its members, right, let go of trying to run everything. There's the surrender again. All right. This goes right along with what we were just talking in take 12, but you're not privy to that conversation yet. All right. So, yes, even a group might need to give up status so that we can help more people. Yeah. You know, I see a lot of people run around thinking that they're speaking for AA. I'm watching a whole state do it right now. It's weird. So that something just isn't quite, I don't know. I don't know. You don't know the conversation yet, and I don't want to blow other stuff, right? So, but survival required humility, not dominance, right? So A didn't succeed by winning; it succeeded by yielding, right? What is 80% of the program? Keeping my darn mouth shut. What are we talking about there? Those intrusive thoughts. I still get them. They're becoming less and less. It's happening less, but it does still happen to me. Happened to me this morning. And it wasn't a presumption. I made an assumption, and it wasn't correct. Over the weekend, I made an assumption about somebody. I was incorrect. I was glad I was, right? So I've been asking God for more open mindedness. Maybe I'm not looking at this correctly. It's okay. There's always something to work on. And while I'm working on this, I'll have another character defect that'll probably slip a little bit because I'm working on this one. So then I'm going to have to go over to this character, right? That's about that progress. It's about surrendering what I think I know for the betterment for everyone. right? So in the early years, it included a lot of strong personalities and very rigid thinking, right? But thank God AA was divinely inspired. Yeah. It would there are so many little small miracles that happened in order for all of it to work. If it wasn't for Lois, if it wasn't for Dr. Silkworth, if it wasn't for Young, if it wasn't for Ebby, if it wasn't for the Oxford group, if it wasn't for the Washingtonians, if it wasn't for the Bible, if it wasn't for Buddha, if it wasn't for all of these things, we would not be here meeting together right now. See, things had to happen perfectly in order for this, even just this right here, to happen. That's pretty neat stuff because I get to be a part of it. I don't I don't need to be specially distinguished or get a bunch of likes and loves. Not that if you want to send them, go for it. All right. But I don't go searching for them. When I first started doing this, I was searching for them. That lasted about 3 months before I figured out that that's not the way it's going to work for me. And it's all right. All right. Because, see, when I do this, my friends show up and I get to hang out with my friends. And that's kind of, and while that is happening, I get to help other people. How blessed am I? I'm pretty blessed. All right. All right. Anyway, so there are a lot of strong personalities and rigid thinking. They were going to have to give this up. Attempts to manage the outcomes create tension and division, and experience showed control weakened. Experience showed control weakened unity. Right. And we're holding secret meetings to kick people out of AA. You can't do that, by the way. I highly recommend you listen to it. I'll be posting it. Give it a listen. It's a good. I'm talking about Take 12 Radio. Um, so what did surrender mean? Right? Surrender the need to be right. Right? Letting go of authority over others. I don't get to tell people what to do. Mm-mm. Even even last night, got a call from a sponsee. Well, this person's kind of irritating. They're asking a lot of questions and they should know this. I'm like, you gotta remember, not everybody knows everything that you know. And I doubt very much that's the actual problem, right? I know what the actual problem is, but it's gonna have to come to him first. He's gonna have to figure that part out. I can't tell him. My suggestion was this: you know a little bit more about this area. So instead of being angry about it, why don't you call them and say, hey, I noticed you were having a little trouble with this. Can I do anything to help you with it? That's the better answer. That's why we have sponsors. That's why we have closed mouth friends, right? Because even for me, maybe that something like that cropped up. But since I'm in the situation, it might be hard for me to see it. So I've got to go out to other people and see if they have that answer that I'm looking for. And I found that they usually do. And it'd be the same answer I would give them, but I can't think of it at the moment because I'm involved in it. My emotions are kind of blocking that sunlight to the spirit, right? Turned out to be a great answer. How it worked out, I have no idea, right? So allowing principles to lead instead of personalities. It's part of what we were just talking about. I was just talking about. These are the principles, right? There's a lot of personalities in AA. Some you're not going to like. Let it go, man. And not everybody likes me either. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I may think I'm a fine Earl Grey, but not everybody likes Earl Grey. I'm making that up. I don't even drink tea. I would, but I don't. All right. So in this case, you know, we're letting go of authority over others. We're allowing the principles to lead us instead of personalities and trusting a shared experience over a individual certainty. Mhm. So, surrendering means listening instead of directing. Because if I am directing, I'm not listening. No, I'll do that. Nope. I I hate it when I'm talking and somebody wants to, but but you're not listening. Why are we even having this conversation now? I let you run your mouth for 5 minutes. Now I get my 5 minutes. Are you listening? Right? And I hope so, because I have found that God answers you through his children. Now, here's the thing, I don't get to pick which one. So I got to listen to everybody. All right. Sometimes things just happen. Yesterday, I was in a meeting. I'm going to go to a 2:30 meeting so I can wrap things up. At 3:00, Amber sends me a message. Hey, you want to go to this meeting? I'm like, I'm already in a meeting. I'm like, you know what? Now I'm going to go to it. And I went. I don't know why. It just felt like that's what I was supposed to do. So I left the other meeting, went to the 3:00 how it works, and it was a good meeting. Oh, yeah. Got what I needed. Was able to help. This other one had like 100 people in it, which I think is cool, but it's way too much. It was very organized. They're doing a great job. Absolutely. All right. So good stuff, man. A lot of different types of AA meetings out there. So, and some people like those big ones. I prefer 20 to 30 people. That's what I prefer. But that doesn't mean that's how it's going to go. See, there's that surrender again. All right. Sometimes I go to grassroots. I have no control over what's happening. No control. I started the meeting. I have no control. Yay. No. I don't get to pick what the chairperson picks for a topic. I don't get to interrupt on that. I don't get to. No. Okay. All right. Unity. Without unity, right? A learned it cannot survive on an ego driven leadership. That's why there's no leadership in AA. Okay. Not only that, but all of our best thoughts got us here. So who's to think that we could trust any AA to run AA? That's why we do these things in groups. And when we do things in groups, what do? Well, we all ask our higher power at the same time to give us the right direction, to give us the right thing so we can do the right thing. And when you have a group of people doing that, you get your answers. It might be a tough conversation, but you will get the answers. Right. So, since AA learned it could not survive an ego driven leadership, decisions had to serve the whole, not the loudest. And that's kind of what's going on now. It seems like the loudest voice wins, right? A couple of things that need to get out of recovery: the government and egos. Okay, everybody running around wanting to be a leader, and they give that. Then the titles come, and then we give ourselves title. I mean, heck, I'm even starting to call myself the Podfather. It's a title. It is something that makes me unique, that makes me stand out. And what is that? Well, it's kind of promotion, isn't it? See, there's always a way that we're teetering towards something, and we have to be open-minded about that. Right? Whoo! It's always easy coming on here calling myself out. We're all human. We're trying to figure it out, right? So no one owns recovery. AA doesn't own recovery. Dion doesn't own recovery. No one owns recovery. Okay. Now, the fact that there are people out there who think they own it. I just saw somebody post, what did it say? and I get what they're saying. I understand. What is it? But I don't want to misquote them. Right. But really what they're trying to do is just stir the pot. Is kind of right. So they said, you will not convince me that I'm still an alcoholic. And I said, I don't need to. Alcohol is going to do that all by itself. Now, in this case, this person's just trying to get attention. I probably shouldn't have written anything, is what I probably should. Now, it's too late now. All right. Because they're just trying to get attention. They're trying to get likes and loves. They're unwilling to sacrifice. All right. But I get it. I don't want my whole identity to be alcohol either. Alcoholic. Let's sprinkle some PTSD, anxiety, depression, and ADHD here too. Sprinkling of psychosis. Right? No. I am Dion. Is Dion an alcoholic? Yes, he is, but he's also a lot of other things. Hey, he's not just an alcoholic. All right. But I get it. But that's just the frustration of the ego trying to do identity. Right? Just be you. Just be you. I'm Dion. That's it. Right? No one controls AA. Right? The message belongs to those who need it, not to those who deliver it. But if we ask God for direction and go to a meeting and we're closed minded, then see, you got to be both. In a very real sense, I'm still a newcomer. I'm still learning new things. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, in the sense of some things, I'm still a newcomer. That's okay too, because I don't need to be more than that, because that is enough. That's enough, right? It's when I start thinking I'm better than people because I'm this or I'm that, right? I'm pretty good at running my mouth, and would I say I'm an expert in this field? Yes, I would say that. Do I know everything about this field? Absolutely not. Right? But I've done enough education. I've got enough experience in this field that I know what I'm talking about. I can keep up with the best of them. All right. So, because not everybody, a lot of people don't have the education and the experience, and I have both. So when I go to these detox meetings, see, I have a different view because I've been a client and I've worked there and I know what works because I know what worked for me. I know what didn't work. Right? So nobody controls AA and nobody controls recovery, not just AA. Nobody. Mm-mm. And when we're being told you have to go this way, now see, there's plenty of stuff out there. Treatment's not required. Does treatment work? Depends on the treatment center. Depends on who you are. I mean, you can't answer that until you go do it. Will it work for you? That's the question. And maybe AA doesn't work for you. There's plenty of other programs out there. Okay. Well, three. There's two or three. So rescue came when ownership was released. I don't own any of it. I own none of this. Mm-mm. I don't even own this phone. Not mine. It's my wife. She pays for it. All right. So surrender is a responsibility. It's not about being passive. Yeah. I'm still got to speak up. Something's going on. Right. If an outside issue comes into the meeting, then the outside issue needs to be removed. And then you know what people will say? Oh, we can't bring that up as an outside issue. It's like kind of the point. It's all right. Stepping back did not mean disengaging. Service increased as control decreased. Less control we have, the more service we get to do, the more we get to do what it is that we do best. Stay sober and help other alcoholics reclaim their lives, saving lives. That's what you do best. That's what I do best. It's a big deal. I think it's a big deal. Right? So, responsibility remained, domination did not. And I see a lot of that domination going on. Gotta be careful. Can't tell people how to believe. You can't, no. It won't work. They're alcoholic. You may be correct, but that doesn't mean I get to tell them. I highly recommend, I suggest these are words that you must be using often. Okay. Even when somebody calls me and asks me literally for advice, I still use that verbiage. Okay. Now, maybe I did give them the answer, but when I use that verbiage, then what happens is they own it. Well, Dion just suggested I'm the one that's claiming it. See, there we go. Now, what did I do? I gave up what little power I had and I gave it to them because I didn't really have any power in the. Well, I did. They called, asked me for advice. They're probably going to do what I. They might do what I say. Maybe they're alcoholic. Who knows? But what am I doing when I say I suggest or I recommend or I did it this way? But it's up to you. I've whatever power they've given me, I've handed back to them with a solution. Now it belongs to them. And what is Alcoholics Anonymous? It's about claiming it ourselves. You are not an alcoholic until you say you're an alcoholic. Until you say you're an alcoholic, you're not an alcoholic. You might have a drinking problem. You might have a problem drinking. You might have alcohol use disorder. No, we cannot claim that on you. Right? Be careful with saying things like that person belongs in the program. Oh, my daddy's definitely an alcoholic. See, you can't, no, you don't get to deem that. Until somebody claims themselves an alcoholic, it is name calling because of all the stigma in the world. So be careful on that. So how did surrender preserve the message? Well, it kept AA flexible and adaptable, and it needs to be that because the world changes, does it not? Right? The world changes, and AA needs to adapt to that. A is like water, it has to be malleable, it has to be able to change. And the people in it also need to change with what is going on. The way that we did meetings in the 80s and 90s will not work today. It's a little different. If you told newcomers they weren't allowed to speak for 30 days, most people would leave nowadays. Yeah, so we got to watch that, right? What is best for the newcomer, right? And what did it do? It prevented rigidity from killing the growth, and it allows people to recover and reach more people because we surrendered, became something different. So, what's the cost of not surrendering? Well, burnout's going to be a big one. Power struggles, loss of purpose, and division is going to fracture groups. It'll fracture AA. It'll drive a schism right through it. I can tell you what the number one thing is. Now, here are the two top reasons why we have emergency group consciousness. Step 13 and money. Those always seem to be it. Yeah. And then we sit around making decisions on whether people can be in AA or not. Right. So, all right, we're going to start to wrap this up. So, you know, surrendering for me is ongoing. I didn't just surrender and that was it. I surrender quite often. And it usually happens around the time acceptance does. The acceptance and the surrender tend to go together in that, right? So it wasn't just a decision. I repeat it daily. Every morning I wake up and I surrender again, right? Because I went to bed. I had, 8 hours and not having God. And I tell you, my dreams are not spiritually aligned. And when I wake up in the morning, actually, I've been getting a lot better at this. My brain is always, it looks for somebody to be angry with. It does. I don't do, it's a bad, bad habit, right? And it's been a little less lately, right? Like, so lately it's only been lasting like 2-3 minutes. Before it would carry me through part of the morning. What am I surrendering? My ego, my pride. Oh no, trust me, I ain't gonna miss those. Right? So, it I especially have to have it when fear and pride show up. fear and pride, right? So, good questions that we can ask ourselves. What are you still trying to run? Hmm, That's a good question. What am I still trying to run? Well, I am still trying to tell the Behavioral Health Administration how to do their job. I would have to admit to that. I know that's not going to change. Yeah, I'd have to say that's one. What happens? What happens when you loosen your grip? Another great question. What happens when I loosen my grip? I'm in a better mood. I'm happier. I treat the people around me much better when I do that. I find peace of mind and happiness. Whereas surrender already saved you. Saved my whole darn life. Everything. Yeah. Hey, getting into recovery and becoming a recovered alcoholic is like playing country music backwards. You're going to get your dog back, your wife back, your truck back, your life back. It may not look the same. Might be a different dog, might be a different wife, but that's because you are a different person. Right? Surrender often. You do it all the time. Acceptance and surrender go hand in hand. Remember? So, AA was rescued the same way we are by surrendering what it could no longer control. So quit trying to control it. Dion. All right. Thank you everybody for being here. Ooh, yay, a podcast. Been a while since it's been a minute. I haven't done a podcast since Jeff Allen. I had some people lined up, but it didn't quite work out. That should be out by at the latest 4 o'clock today. Her name is Lauren. I'm not going to give a last name. And she is somebody that I met while doing outreach. And she works for a place called Mountain West, which I am a very big proponent of. I really like these guys. But I'm really interested in what she's going to talk about. We've had some great conversations. So I would anticipate it's not going to be live because when the speaker's a little nervous, um, we're not going to get the full thing if there's a bunch of people and, oh, there's like a bunch of people watching. They're going to ask me questions. I want her to be totally relaxed, especially when we're kind of telling some of our personal stories. And then there's that level of anonymity that I got to make sure I cover too, right? Yeah. Yeah. It's always about the speaker. What can I do to make sure the speaker gets to say everything that they would like to say? I'm really good at that part. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Jimmy says thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. I love you, dude. Yeah. Thank you all for being here. I love y'all. You know I do. All right. Peace out. And let's remember no one ever, ever, ever trudges